Hi everyone, and welcome inside the CitrusTV studios. Different digs, but the same old great analysts with Ben Peck and Darius Joshua. I'm John Nolan, excited here for Syracuse versus Minnesota week. And guys, we're about a quarter of the way through the season already. Has it gone as you would expect it or what?
You know, I think that the team, I thought it'd be a lot more exciting starting at the beginning, but the Northwestern game, second half, was pretty exciting. But against USC and against Stony Brook, nothing really to write home about.
Yeah, the record might not be exactly where you want it, but honestly, this team has really been the most impressive to me for Doug Marrone in his entire career, at least starting off the season.
Well, through 3 weeks, we've had a chance to get to know this 2012 Syracuse team, but say, why don't we get to meet Minnesota right now? And starting off, how about the quarterback? Not the same starter that the Golden Gophers had for the first 3 weeks of the season, but instead, Max Shortell.
Yeah, this guy he's got a lot of good tools with him. He's 6'6", 235 out of Kansas sophomore. And he's got a lot of good fundamentals you look for, and I think down the road he'll be really good for this team. But he hasn't faced much adversity so far. He's had 2 good games, coming in late against New Hampshire and starting against Western Michigan, but he's really going to have to face some adversity in the Syracuse game.
Shortell known to be a pro-style quarterback, and if he's going to hand the ball off, it's likely going to go to Donnell Kirkwood.
Oh, yeah, definitely. This guy's got 53 carries and 262 yards on the year. He had a career-high 110 yards last week against Western Michigan, and I expect him to have a very big role this week because, as John said, with a more pro-style quarterback, they're going to hand the ball off, have a more balanced offense instead of Marquise Gray, running around and creating with his legs and with his arm.
But when Shortell does drop back to pass, his favorite target could very well be A.J. Barker, who has 4 touchdowns in the first 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah, 2 100-yard games in the first 3 games of the season for the Golden Gophers. But I think this guy is going to be someone that just makes Syracuse fans pull their hair out. He's 6'1", 197, doesn't have great speed, but he's smart, he has good hands, and he finds the holes in the zone. He's an excellent route runner. And fans are going to see him wide open with no one guarding him, thinking, why isn't anyone there? But that's because he finds the holes that are with no defender there.
All right, and Darius, how about the guy who's running the show for the Golden Gophers on the sideline in his second year, Coach Kill?
And let me just say, awesome name. Coach Jerry Kill right there. It's a perfect name for a guy who wants to inspire his players to really go out there and play hard. You know, last season he was 3-9 for Minnesota, and his second year now starting 3-0. So he's off to a good start. He's a guy who's got Northern Illinois, the team he was with last year, to 3 straight bowl games. And he's also a former defensive coordinator, which would explain why this team is only allowing 19 points per game. And I think that this guy, he's got his players playing very well so far this season. He has faith in Max Shortell, faith in his ability to throw the ball, and he's also a more accurate passer. So he's got a lot of things to be happy about going into this game against Syracuse.
Well, after that spree of knowledge on Kill and the rest of Minnesota, how about we take a look now at Saturday night's game. So far for Syracuse this year, Ryan Nassib and Marcus Sales in the passing game have been pretty consistent. Otherwise, though, other guys have stepped up in different games individually. Who do you expect to be an X factor for Saturday night's game?
Ben, you can start this one.
Well, I'm going to go with the Syracuse pass rush in this game. Basically, as I said, the new quarterback, Matt Shortell, has had some nice games here to start the season off, but he hasn't faced much adversity. And sure, there might be stretches in this game where the Syracuse secondary lets up a little bit. But if he gets time, he can be dangerous, and the Syracuse pass rush is going to bring it, and they could really impact this quarterback.
You know, I'm going to go with the special teams, a part of the game that you don't necessarily put a lot of emphasis on all the time. But I think in a game where Minnesota might have a lot of defensive pressure on Nassib, it's going to be crucial for him to have good field position. I think punt returning, that they're going to need to get Nassib over at least across midfield so he can get that offense going, get into the red zone, and get as many points as possible on this tough, stingy Minnesota defense.
We saw Stephen Rene lose his job as the starting punt returner last Saturday against Stony Brook. All right, guys, for Saturday night versus Minnesota, what's your prediction?
I'll say Syracuse 31, Minnesota 20. Now, I think that overall the defense is going to be able to stabilize this Minnesota offense, especially without Marquise Gray. I don't know if the running back can pick up all that slack. And then offensively, again, it might be a bumpy road to start off, but I really like this passing attack this year, and I think eventually especially in the second half, that'll take off and take Syracuse to the victory.
I'm going to go with a little bit of a closer game than you have, Ben. I'm going to go 24-17 Syracuse. They do come out with the victory here. There's going to be a stingy game of defense, and it's going to be a lot of pressure on Nassib to move the ball, especially with 8 sacks in the year from Minnesota. He's going to need a lot of pass protection and a nice balanced attack from Ashton Breuer, Prince Tyson Gully, and Jerome Smith in the running game, so he can spread out the offense, get the ball to Marcus Sales, get the ball to Alec Lemon, and eventually get SU to their second win of the season.
It's definitely going to be a battle. I think this game is going to not be decided until maybe 5 minutes in the fourth quarter, 8 minutes. It's going to go on for a while.
Yeah, it's going to be a very long game, especially if Nassib can't get the offense started right away where he needs to be. He needs to punch this Minnesota defense right in the mouth and get it going.
All right, well, we'll have to wait and see if your predictions turn out true. And then afterward, you're going to want to check out sportsblog.citrustv.net for the best video coverage in the area to recap it all. For our analysts, Ben Peck and Darius Joshua, I'm John Nolan. Thanks for watching.